Hello everyone. With everything that's going on here in the last 2 or 3 months, airline stocks have become really popular because they've taken a really large hit. So in this video, I want to take a very quick look at Southwest stock and kind of give my opinion on the overall industry. Southwest is ticker symbol LUV. First off, I wanted to take a look at Southwest year to date so far. They're currently trading at about $25, and at the high this year, when the stock market was at its previous high, was at about $59 for Southwest, and then it's gone all the way down to $24.77, and it hasn't rebounded much since then. So it went down to about half of what it was at the previous high, but compared to some of these other airline stocks, we're not seeing as much of a massive change compared to the stocks that are down 60 or 70+%. But with that being said, some other airline stocks have already rebounded more than Southwest has, and it actually kind of remains to be seen why Southwest stock hasn't come back up as much as some of the other airlines. Now, taking a look at their financials, revenues have steadily increased by small increments year over year, while earnings have stayed relatively the same with a spike in 2017. And what we're going to expect for 2020, especially these first 2 quarters, is a massive drop in revenues and negative earnings, and they may even have negative earnings moving forward as a lot of people are weary of traveling. But, and this is my opinion, I do fully expect everything to be back to normal by Q1 next year. So you could potentially see your gains if you're an investor in some of the airline stocks, if they don't go bankrupt, of course, which most of them probably will not, especially Southwest is definitely on the safer side along with JetBlue. Now I wanted to take a look at a couple of positive points by an analyst at Morningstar for Southwest. The first one is that Southwest enjoys the strongest brand in the industry thanks to its simple fares, free checked bags, and solid customer service. Other airlines, they may have the cheapest flight, but then you're going to have a $60 fee, $30 checked bag, and really it's going to end up being the same price as Southwest anyway. And Southwest really has really strong customer service, and in my personal dealings with Southwest, I've always been happy. And then moving on to that second point, mergers are a big problem for Southwest because the bigger the other airlines get, the better the pricing power they're going to have, which could help hurt Southwest's bottom line. And then kind of in that second point there, jet fuel is one of airlines' biggest expenses, and with oil prices being really low right now, that helps airlines' top and bottom line. And now I wanted to take a look at a few of the negative points by an analyst at Morningstar, and the first one kind of goes against what I was just saying. It's that ultra low-cost carriers like Spirit and Allegiant, as well as Frontier, will pressure Southwest's legacy model. And even though Southwest is better at a lot of things, there are a lot of customers out there that are just going to buy the cheapest flight possible every time. And then that second point there, Southwest's move into longer haul routes, and kind of just adding on to that, they're not just adding longer haul routes, they're also adding new cities every single year, and they have had a pretty aggressive expansion strategy, which is why we saw earlier that they have been increasing revenues for the last 4 years. And then just to continue that point, it says its efforts to lure business travelers will increase costs but fail to capture a unit revenue premium, and that may not necessarily be true. And then just the last point, and this is a really important one, but Southwest has a massive exposure to the 737. That's their entire fleet, and there were big problems with the 737, and there's big problems with Boeing right now. So if those continue, that could definitely hurt Southwest in the short term and long term. And I kind of just mentioned that a minute ago, but Southwest is my airline of choice when I do fly, so maybe I am slightly biased, but I also think that Southwest is, in my personal opinion, one of the best investments for airlines because they are taking on great growth and they do have a really strong brand recognition. And if you were to look a little bit more into their financials, you'd see that they are not in nearly as bad of terms as some of the other airlines, such as American. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm making videos on a lot of the airline stocks, and I already made a video on American Airlines, so be sure and go check that out and subscribe for more content.